the first thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com. You need to select math as your subject. This is a grade 9 lesson, okay? And the topic that we are doing is linear. It's a continuation of the last topic, linear inequalities. Okay, and the chapter number is, let me give you the chapter. The chapter number is 8. Chapter number is 8, and the lesson number is 2. Okay, and the name of the chapter is linear inequalities word problems. We are doing linear inequalities, and we would be doing word problems today. We would be looking at different questions, different scenarios, and how we can create inequalities out of it. Okay, so let me just copy and let's go to this first. We go to math, we go to grade 9, chapter number 8, and lesson number 2. Okay, so the first question we have is, in linear inequalities, we need to remember that we have to suppose variables. Okay, so if this is the first question that is given to us, this is question number 1, and the question number 1 says Aaron wants to spend no more than $34, right, while stocking up on peanut butter and jelly, right? She wants to spend no less than 34, right? Second part of the question says the peanut butter jar cost $2. Okay, I'm using different colors to highlight. Whereas the jelly would cost $3. Okay, and they're telling us select the inequality in standard form that describes this situation. Use the given numbers and the following variables. They've told us to use these two variables. Okay, where x would represent the peanut butter. X represents the peanut butter, and y represents the number of jars of the jelly, right? So what we need to do is we need to create an inequality that would represent the answer, right? Okay, so the number of jars that we would buy, Aaron would buy, plus the number of jars, jellies Aaron would buy, right? That should be less than or equals to 34 because the budget is 34, right? So if we say that one jar costed $2, right? So can we say if we need to find the number, if $2 was the price and X was the number of jars, right? So we can say 2X. If Aaron bought 5 jars, that would be 2 into 5, that is $10, right? What else did Aaron buy? Aaron bought jelly as well. Each jar of jelly costed $3, right? And the jar was represented of jelly was represented by a Y, right? So can we say that $2 into the number of jars of peanut butter plus the price, that is $3 into the jars of jelly, right? But the opening statement said that Aaron wants to spend no more than $34, right? So the total cost, this is the cost, jar of peanuts plus the jar of jellies, should be less than equal to 34 because 34 was the total budget, right? So this is the inequality that represents the number of jars bought for peanut butter and the number of jars bought for jelly. Okay, and this is the total amount that Aaron had. Okay, so in this case, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create an inequality based on the given information. Okay, let's do another question. Let's see what else we can do. Is there any problem? Anything that you did not understand? If there is anything, kindly let me know. Leave me a message so that I can explain it further. Okay. For the next question, question number 2, what they are asking us is, Lester, I'll write down question number 2. Lester is printing out copies of a presentation, right? It takes 4 minutes. Let's highlight. It takes 4 minutes to print a color copy. And it takes how many minutes? 2 minutes to print out a black and white. Okay. So we are talking about time over here, right? Lester wants to spend under 47 minutes. He does not want to spend more than 47 minutes on the printing. So the next part of the question says, select the inequality in standard form that describes this situation. Use the given numbers and the following variables. Let's see what the variables are given to us. The given variables are X represented the number of color copies. So we can say this is the X that is representing the number of color copies, and Y represents the number of black and white. Agreed? Do we agree on this? So that means the color copy took 4 minutes, right? So we can say 4 minutes per copy. That means if there were 2 copies, that means 4 multiplied by 2, that is 8 minutes. If there were 3 copies, 4 multiplied by 3, that would be 3 copies, right? Plus 2 minutes each, right? 2 minutes each for black and white. So this is the total time that he would be spending on making printouts, right? So the question says that 4x plus 2y, that is 4 minutes per color copy plus 2 minutes per black and white. But they're also telling us that he wants to spend under 47 minutes, right? He does not want to spend more than 47 minutes. So the time duration for doing these copies cannot exceed, it should be less than equals to 47, right? So this is an equality that represents the time Lester would be spending printing color and black and white copies, which has to be no more than 47 minutes. It cannot be more than 47 minutes, okay? So this is an inequality representing this information for us. Do we agree on this? No more means, oh, sorry, it cannot be equal. He wants to spend under, less than, right? So that is only 47. He cannot use 47 minutes. He wants to do 46 minutes, 50 seconds, but he does not want to use 47. Therefore, we do not put an equal in this, okay? Moving ahead to the next question. The next question says, a mortal is purchasing new towels, okay? Let me just copy the question so that we have it on our screen. Then let's go through it. The most important thing while doing word problem is underline the requirements, okay? So whatever is required, try to underline, okay? So if this is a question given to us, okay, and it says a mortal is purchasing a set of new towels. This is our question number 3. Let's highlight. Suites require 13 towels, okay? And individual rooms require 6 towels. So we have a given information. In a suite, they will put 13 towels. In a room, they will put 6 towels, right? Let's see. The minimum order required by the towel vendor is 807 towels, right? So they say that we would buy 807 towels, right? minimum. It says the minimum order. Like this is the minimum number that must be present over there, right? Select the inequality in the standard form and describes the situation. Use the numbers given and the following variables, okay? So X was representing number of suites, right? So we can say that X is representing the number of suites that they need to put towels in, whereas Y is representing the number of individual rooms with the towels, right? And the minimum order required by the towel vendor is, so they need minimum 807, right? So it could be 807 or more than 807, right? So can we say that there were 13 towels used for suites, right? So we can say 13. If there is one suite, we write 13 towels. If there are two suites, we write 13 multiplied by 2, that is 26. If there are three suites, they write 13 multiplied by 3, 39, and so on, right? So what we are doing is we are trying to create an inequality where we would get the number of towels required by this mortal, right? Plus the second part we had was y. Y was the number of towels. Individual rooms required 6 towels, right? That means 6 towels per room. Agreed? Do we agree on this? 13 towels per suite and 6 towels per room, right? What is most important for us over here is the minimum order. The term used is minimum, right? So that means it can be 807 or more than 807, right? It could be total, I'll write down, could be 807 or more than 807, right? These could be the total number of towels, right? So what we can say is this is 807. It could be equal or more, right? That means the number of towels 13x plus 6y would be greater than equals to 807. That means the required number of towels in the two category of rooms could be equal to 807. We put an equal sign, or it could be more than 807, right? So we write greater than equals to. Do we agree on this? Do we have an agreement? If there is any question, kindly ask so that I would explain that right now. If there is no question, then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, thank you. Let's move ahead to the next question. The next question says, okay, Darnell wants to replace the flooring, okay? Let me just copy the question so that we have it on our screen. Okay, for question number 4, it says, Darnell wants to replace, I'll just write question number 4, replace the flooring in his house with combination of carpet and hardwood flooring, right? He cannot exceed, it says he cannot exceed a budget more than $7,300, right? That is his maximum budget. So the cost should be less than this, right? Or equal to this. He is saying I cannot exceed 7,300, right? But he can spend 7,300, right? So the next part is the carpet. Sorry. So can we say the carpet over here? Sorry, just a minute, please. I'll erase this. It says the carpet he likes has a cost of $10 per square foot, right? And the hardwood flooring he likes has a cost of $6 per square foot. We need to find an inequality such that X is the amount X is the size of the carpet and Y is the size or the amount of hardwood flooring that he would buy, right? So can we say that the carpet was $10 per square feet, right? So can I say that if he bought, it was $10 per square feet and he buys X number of square feet, right? It could be 2 square feet, it could be 20 square feet. If it's 2 square feet, then the cost for the carpet would be $20. If he buys 20 square feet, that the cost would be 20 multiplied by 10, 200. So depending on the length of carpet that he needs to buy, he would have the cost for the carpet. Then we add the second category to it, second cost to it. The second cost was $6 per feet, right? And that is the hardwood flooring, that is why. That means his total costing comes out to be 10x plus $6 times y, right? And what did he say? He cannot exceed. That means he can spend 7,300, right? He can spend 7,300, but he cannot exceed, right? That means the cost of these things should be less than equals to $7,300. Okay, let's read the statement again. X number, X is the length of carpet he bought, multiply by 10. That is the cost of the carpet. 6y will give us the cost of hardwood flooring per square feet, right? But the cost of the entirety of this carpet and the hardwood flooring cannot exceed 7,300. That means it should be less than 7,300. But the term uses he cannot exceed. They never said that he cannot spend 7,300, right? That means we need to put an equal sign as well because he can afford 7,300 also. So it could be equals to 7,300 or it could be any value less than 7,300. So the inequality is 10x plus 6y is less than equals to 7,300. Okay, are we clear on this? Any question regarding this? If there is any question, kindly let me know so that we redo it, or the next question I will try to cover those questions. Okay. Okay. So let's try the next question, question number 5. The next question we have is, the next question says, question number 5, it says a tour director is hiring boats to transport a group of tourists across a river. And what is given? He must make sure there is room for at least 29 passengers. Okay. We are given a total of 29 passengers. Out of these 29, the number of tourists in group A can seat 4 passengers, right? The small boat can have 4 passengers, right? And the flat boat can seat 1 passenger, right? So what we need to see is how many boats would he need in order to accommodate 29 passengers as a whole, right? So we see that X is the number of dinghies and Y is the number of flatboats, right? And they were total at least, they're saying there are at least 29, means it could be 29 passengers or it could be any number greater than 29. They could be 30 passengers too as well, because the minimum number of passengers we need to accommodate is 29. They have not given us the maximum number, they have given us the minimum number, right? So can we say that 4 passengers in x, right? 4x, that means x number of smaller boats, right? Plus one passenger seat in flatboats, right? Can we say that? So we can write this statement as 4x plus y should be at least 29. That means 29 is possible, right? Okay, that means these boats should be able to accommodate is equals to 29 or more than 29, right? So this is the inequality that would give us the number of dinghies or the flatboats required to accommodate the tour, right? Any questions for this? Do we have any questions regarding this question? Any queries? Okay, thank you. But once we do the test, I would want you people to answer them, right? So that if there is any questions, please kindly ask right now. Because in the test, I would not be helping you out. I would just be giving you hints over there. For question number 6, Carl has up to 420 minutes to dedicate to working out this week, right? I'll just highlight up has up to. Up to means it cannot exceed 420, right? It could be 408, 412 till 420, but he cannot exceed 420. It takes 45 minutes to complete a cardio workout. Let's highlight 45 minutes to do a cardio, and it takes him 31 minutes to complete a weightlifting. Okay, we have these inequalities given below are the variables. X is the number of cardio workouts, and whereas y represents the weightlifting workouts. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create an inequality such that working cardio for number of hours, that given minutes, right? 45 minutes slots, or weightlifting 31 minute slots, how many slots would he be able to do within 420 minutes? That means up to means it could be 420 or less than 420, right? So let's look at the solution to this. What they are saying is, if it took 45 minutes to complete a cardio workout, single workout, that means 45 minutes per workout. That means if he does one workout, that would be 45 multiplied by 1. Two workouts, that means 45 multiplied by 2. And depending on the number of workouts, right? Plus 31 minutes for weightlifting. That means 31 minutes per weightlifting. And weightlifting was represented by Y. Okay. Okay. The most important part is the other side of the inequality. They say this time spent 4x plus 31y. This is the total time he spends, which cannot exceed 420, right? Because they are saying it is up to 400. He only has 420 minutes, right? Which cannot exceed, but it can be equal or it can be less than, right? So the time that he is spending could be less than 420 or equals to 420, right? So this is an inequality formed under these given conditions. Okay. Do we agree? Any concerns? Any question up till now? Please do ask me the questions, because we are doing with two variables only right now. Okay. We are doing inequalities with two variables, X and Y. That means we are doing questions related with two conditions only, right? But they can be three or more than three or more, just simply say more than two conditions too. Okay, for the next question, that was question number 7, okay? Let's say in question number 7, a hockey team in Greenpoint has made to the playoffs. In order to make profit on the game, at least, let's look at the wordings, at least must be made in sales, right? So they are saying that at least 25,000 should be made in sales, right? Which cost, okay, lower level tickets which cost 35, lower level tickets cost 35 per head, and the luxury box cost $170 per head, right? So what they're asking us, select the inequalities, write the inequality in standard form that describes this above given situation. Use the given numbers and following variables. The given variables are X represents the number of low level tickets sold, whereas Y represents the luxury box tickets sold, right? And they're saying at least this amount of sales has to be made, right? So minimum, that means we can go beyond this also, right? The sales can be minimum 25,000, but it can be 25,100, 25, 6,000, any number above $25,000, right? So once we start with the values, we can say a lower box tickets cost $35, depending on the number of tickets, right? If one ticket was sold, that would be $35. If 100 tickets would be sold, we find 3,500 and so on, right? Plus the upper box. How much was the upper box? Sorry. The upper box was $170. 170 per ticket, right? So this is how we can find the cost of sales, like how much sale was done. The X number of lower level tickets multiplied by the cost plus Y multiplied by 170. That was the cost of a luxury box, right? The most important part is at least 25,000. So we can write 25,000, right? When they're saying the term at least, that means it could be 25,000. We would have an equal sign also, right? We will have an equal sign, because if the accurate sale of 25,000 is done, that is also acceptable for us, because 25,000 is an acceptable number, because they are saying it should be at least 25,000. So that means we have an equal or greater. That means the sale generated by selling lower level tickets and the luxury box tickets should be equal to 25,000 or greater than 25,000. Okay. So this is the inequality that represents the sale of tickets or the revenue generated, right? Moving ahead to the next question, we can say that, just a minute, please. Zoe is selling handmade jewelry. Okay, let's have a look. I'll just copy it on the screen so that we have the question here. Okay. Okay, we have the question here. And question number, this was question number 8. Question number 8 says Zoe is selling handmade jewelry to earn money for the camp, right? What she is doing is bracelets are sold for $6 each, whereas a necklace is sold for $29, right? She needs to make at least, what she needs to do is she needs to make at least $210 in revenue. Okay, at least, the word is at least. The at least would mean that she makes 210 or any number more than 210, right? So what we are given is X represents the number of bracelets, whereas Y represents the number of necklaces, right? So if each bracelet had a cost of $6, right? How many bracelets were sold? There were X bracelets sold. Plus, if each necklace had a cost of 29, how many necklaces were sold? There were Y necklace sold, right? So can we write this in first part as 6x plus 29 times necklaces? And she is saying that at least would mean it could be 210. At least means it could be equal. Agreed? It could be equal or it should be more, right? So can we just a minute, please. Can we say that the cost that she is incurring over here should be greater than and equal? Do we agree on this? Right? That means $6 per bracelet plus $29 into the number of necklaces. The total profit that the total revenue or the total profit that she generated should be $210 or more than $210. That's why we use greater than over here. Okay. Do we have any other questions? If we have any questions, please do ask me. Okay. I'm waiting. I'll just highlight this so that we know what is a final inequality. This is a final inequality. Okay. Any questions up till now? What we are trying to do is we are trying to create an inequality with two different given variables with two different pricing, right? In question number 7 and question number 8, we were considering the price. In the other questions, we were considering other variables. Okay. So moving ahead to the next question, question number 9. Let me just copy that. Okay, we'll try a few of from the test as well, right? But I wish to explain you more of these questions so that since these are word problems and word problems are always the difficult part. So question number 9. So I'll just put down over here. Question number 9 says, Karen assumes some clothing. She has 56 yards of fabric to use. That means 56, okay. She uses 6 yards to make short sleeve shirts, right? And she uses how much? She uses 17 yards to make long sleeve t-shirts. So she has basically two types of t-shirts over here. X gives the short sleeve and Y gives the long sleeve, okay? So what we need to do is we need to create an inequality that would represent the given information, right? If she has 56 yards of fabric, right? Can she use 60 yards? Anything more than 56? She cannot because she only has 56 yards with her, right? That means she can use 56 yards or any number that is less than 56, right? But she cannot exceed 56, right? So let's start off with the question. 6 yards to make short sleeve. 6 yards to make short sleeve plus 17 yards to make a long sleeve, right? And she cannot exceed what?
Can she exceed 56? Because the total length of cloth she had 56. She can use equal to 56 or less than 56, right? Because she only has 56 yards. So she cannot use 57, even 57, but she can use 55 yards. Any number less than 56 or equals to 56. Do we agree? Okay, let's try one more. Let's look at another question and let's see what they're asking us. Okay, candles. It's about assembling Alice is assembling centerpieces that use candles. We are talking about candles in question number 10. So if this is for us question number 10, it says, I'll just move it ahead. Alice is assembling centerpieces that uses candle. A small centerpiece uses two candles, okay? A larger centerpiece would use four candles, right? Alice is limited to using 93 candles only. She has a limit. She cannot exceed 93 candles, right? So let's confirm. X gives the number of small centerpieces and Y gives the number of large centerpieces, okay? So if we know how many centerpieces is she making, then we already know the number of candles that would be required, right? So if two candles were required, if she needed two candles for making X, right? So we can say 2X plus, what was that? 4Y. Agreed? Four candles plus larger count centerpieces. And the question says she is limited to using 93 only, right? She is limited to 93 candles. She cannot exceed 93 candles, right? But that means she can use 93, right? Do we agree? The question does not bound her using 93. Alice is limited to using 93. That means she can use 93. That means it can be equal or anything less than 93, right? That means the number of candles used to make small centerpieces plus the number of candles used to make larger centerpieces can be equal to 93 or they should be less than 93. Okay. So this is how we create an inequality. Okay. Moving ahead, let's try some questions from the test. Okay. Let's do the test so that we have practice as well. I'll just highlight test over here. The first question from the test. Let me just copy that. Okay, I need to go back. Okay, just a minute, please. Math. I just need to log in back. Okay, grade 8 and sorry, grade 9. Sorry, apologies, grade 9. I am just selecting that. Grade 9, chapter number 8, lesson number 2, and let's load the test. And the test given to us is, the first question says, they have given us 4 inequalities as the options, okay? And let's see which option should be the correct. So I'll just put up the test over here. Okay, we put it up over here. We take this space to do our own working. Sorry. We select this. We say these are option A, B, C, and D. Option A, option B, option C, and option D. Okay. So how can we do this question? We read the question and we highlight. The orchestra in Cedarburg is putting on a benefit concert for the local children's hospital. The orchestra seating cost $34 per ticket. Okay, $34 per ticket. and the balcony is 120. And the goal is to raise at least minimum 7,900, right? Select the inequality in standard form that describes this situation. So which inequality should be the answer? Option A, B, C, or D? Can I have the answer? Since you people are supposed to complete this, I'll just try to zoom in. So which option is the correct? Option A, option B, option C, or option D? What we can say is X was seed sold, that is $34, right? Dollars 34 times X plus dollars 120 times Y, the number of seeds sold. So can we say this is 34X plus 120Y? Just by looking at the options, can we say all of them state the same thing, right? 34x plus 120y, 34x, 120y, 34x, 125, 34x, 120y. So the difference will be with these signs, greater than equal and less than equal, right? So we have to look at the second part of the question. The second part of the question says the goal is to raise at least 7,900. At least. That means it could be equal also, right? That means option A and option B is not possible. Agreed? So from option C and option D, which option should be the correct option when it says at least? Option number C or option number D? See, at least would mean, I'll just explain again, that this amount generated should be equal 34x plus 120y should be equal or greater, right? This should be equal. Yes, correct. That means option number C is the correct answer, right? Yes, thank you. We click on option number C and we would get to know whether it's correct or not. Option number C is the correct. So the next question we have is something very similar to which we already did. The only difference would be the values, okay? Let's try one more. Question number 2. I'll just highlight this. This is our question number 2 from the test. And these 4 options are given to us. I'll just highlight option A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. Daniel wants to replace the flooring in his house with a combination of carpet and hardwood flooring, but he cannot exceed a budget. That means it has to be less than equal, right? Even just by looking at this, we will be able to find our answer, right? So it has to be less than equal. Which of those two have less than equal? Oh, all of 4 options has less than equal, right? Okay, moving ahead. The carpet he likes at the cost of $10 per square foot. And the flooring he likes, hardwood flooring he likes is $6 per square foot, right? So can we create an equation? We know that this is X is the carpet and Y represents the hardwood flooring, right? So can we say that $10 with X? Sorry. Can I have the answer also? I'm doing it slowly so that you can give me the answer. Plus $6 times Y. right? So we can say 10x plus 6y, and the amount given over here is 7,300, right?
So which option should it be? A, B, C, D?
It cannot be option number A, it cannot be option number B because there are a lot of additions over here. But we know that cannot exceed a budget, right? That means it can be equal, it can be equal or less than, right? That means which option should be the correct? 10x plus 6y, that is option number C.
Agreed. That means option number C is the correct answer. Okay. So please do the remaining questions. They're not very difficult. You just need to have an idea. We need to read the statement cannot exceed. This would define us whether it's greater than or less than, right? Just go through the remaining test questions, practice them, and I'll see you in the next class. Take care. Have a nice day.